Have you ever noticed how the right kind of outfit can completely change your mood? Maybe the moment you slip into a pair of boots or a specific jacket or just even a lipstick. You don't just look different, but you feel different too because these things that you're wearing are bringing a new energy to your whole being that is making you more confident, more powerful, more badass, more you. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this episode today. I call it putting on your shit kickers. And it's really a session about what it looks like to kind of step boldly into your authentic self, wear what you want to wear, stop caring what other people think, but specifically wear items of clothing that make you feel like even more of a badass, specifically in those moments where you just need a little bit more confidence. And sometimes, that actually is as simple as starting with your closet. So, you might be familiar with dressing for success and, dress for the job you want to have and all of these, kind of catchy, like workplace corporate ideas. But what I have really noticed in my life and what has made the biggest impact is when I have dressed for more confidence. So I feel like more of a badass because when I feel like I'm stepping into that badass energy, I'm actually able to be in situations where I own shit. I take control of the situation. I advocate for myself and I feel empowered because I'm literally taking my life by the handlebars, and it's not that I don't have that energy within myself already. It's just that these items of clothing that we wear tend to bring it out of us a little bit more because we have that visual cue to be like, oh, yeah, like I'm a badass. I feel amazing. I feel like I can, own my shit today. And a couple of examples of when this happened for me. So, this episode is called Put On Your Shit Kickers. And I really love my motorcycle boots. I was gifted to them by my husband, and they are Indian motorcycle boots. They have like a 2-inch heel. When I put these on, I immediately am in the zone, feeling like a badass. I've always said that when I wear these boots, I walk taller, I feel stronger, I feel more empowered and more confident. Like legit, if I were to like tape a before and after of myself putting on these boots, like I have a swagger. I definitely walk differently in these shoes. And knowing that this was like the impact of these shoes on my being, I decided when we were getting married, I was like, oh, should I wear like some white stiletto heels or should I put on my amazing Indian motorcycle boots that make me feel like a total badass? And in my mind, there was absolutely no question on which pair of shoes I was going to wear. And I did walk down the aisle in my Indian motorcycle boots. I said, I do to my husband in my Indian motorcycle boots. I threw my bouquet to the wedding party in my Indian motorcycle boots. And I do believe a lot of the energy that I held during the day was because I felt like a badass. I felt grounded. I felt empowered. And the shoes were bringing the energy that I needed that day to really help me and give me that like extra 10% of just what I needed to feel like my best badass self. And when I think about clothing has an energy too. We talk about the energy of people, of places, of activities, but what we put on our body is also like very energetically can be like aligned with how we want to feel or how we want to present ourselves in the world. It can also be misaligned if we're not very intentional about what we want to wear. And sometimes, I feel this daily. I'll be like, oh, getting dressed, going out, and then I can put on an outfit and be like, oh, this, checks all the boxes. Like it's in fashion, it's cute, it's whatever. And yet I just feel like totally dead inside when I'm wearing like this combination of skirt and shirt outfit. And that's not how I want to feel when I leave the house. I don't want to be able to say, like, yeah, I'm fashionable. You could put it in a magazine, but like, I feel like shit and I don't feel very confident and I don't feel badass. Like, for me, if I'm not feeling badass, then what's the point? And I truly mean that. And so typically in that situation, what I'll do is I'll just like put on a piece of clothing that has a better energy to it, something that is more badass. And if I'm to give an example, I have a specific Harley Davidson bomber jacket that I instantly put on, and I'm like, I'm there, I'm here, I'm ready to F some shit up. I feel totally confident and badass. And I'm wearing it right now. So if you're watching the video of this, if you're on Spotify or YouTube, you can take a look at that. And I just shoulders back, chin up, so much more confident. And these clothing, it not only affects how we feel, but it also affects how the world perceives us and how people are going to look at us as well. Because let's not forget, there's like actually that part of, presenting in the world, whether we care or not. But it's actually really powerful when used with intention. So I remember when I was starting my corporate career, I really wanted to be taken seriously, and I was like interested in climbing the corporate ladder at that time. So in my workplace, I primarily almost exclusively wore pantsuits, blazers, men's shirts, tailored pants, and like really sensible like workplace shoes. It was all stylish and cute, but it was like a very masculine silhouette because I wanted to embody that masculine energy. I wanted people to look at me and say, wow, she's here to fuck some shit up. Like, she's here to get ahead. And I think that was what I was doing. And that was what I was manifesting at the time. So that was outcome successful, I think, at the time, based on where my mindset was. And there is a lot of science to this: dressing for success, dressing for the job you want, always kind of keeping yourself put together. There's so many studies about like women who wear makeup versus women who don't wear makeup. Um, Personally, I think do what you want. Stop giving a shit about what other people think. But there is a lot of psychology behind all of this. But what I want to say is, like, you too can incorporate this badassery style. You can also find your version of your shit kickers so that when you put them on, you leave the house feeling totally unstoppable, completely unshakable, and just like a total badass. So I want to talk about like, what are your shit kickers, or what are shit kickers to begin with, and how do you find yours? So my shit kickers are my Indian motorcycle boots. I love them. They're so busted. They're so beat up. They're like scarred. They're absolutely like falling apart. The toes on them are kind of like collapsed in because of, when I shift gears and stuff, and I've just ridden thousands and thousands of miles in them, that they're like very worn. But I love them, and that actually has probably more impact on the badassery energy that they bring to my vibe when I put them on. And I remember I was talking to a friend only a couple of days ago. She just started riding motorcycles, and I was talking about her gear, and she looked amazing. And I said, when you put your motorcycle boots on, do you feel like a badass? And she was like, oh, I don't know, like, I'm not sure. Kind of hadn't maybe crossed her mind. The next time I saw her, a couple of days later, we went on a group ride on our motorcycles. She was like, Mel, I gotta tell you, yes, when I put these boots on, I feel like a badass. I have a swagger, I have a swing, I feel so confident. And that really is the essence for me of what a shit kicker is. Like, even if it's not your motorcycle boots, if you don't ride, for many years I wore Doc Martens. I still have my original pair, and they made me feel like a total badass. Like, just like a pair of shoes that maybe has a thick sole, that is like maybe has some hardware that just looks like totally tough, and that when you wear it you feel totally tough as well. And this is how you want to feel like you walk taller, you want to feel like you feel stronger. It can even be, so I mentioned my Harley Davidson jacket. I even have a pair of aviator sunglasses that I wear if I'm like, have an outfit that I'm kind of like, oh, it's cute, but like it needs a bit more toughness. It needs like some badass energy. I'll put on my aviators because for me, aviators are just like scream badass. I don't know why. Um, I'm not sure what that association is. I also have a specific lips color of lipstick that I wear when I'm riding my motorcycle. And it's also like very moisturizing, but I find that when I'm gearing up, getting ready to ride, when I swipe that lipstick on, I'm like ready to roll. That just gets me in the zone to take control, to be a badass, to, you know, swing my leg over a machine and just like ride off into the sunset. I also like to do heavy eyeliner when I'm riding my motorcycle, or if I'm, going to meetings throughout the day. I just feel like, from a makeup perspective, maybe I just want to feel tougher or feel like more confident. I'll do a thick eyeliner, like a thick swoop. And, it can even be like, if you don't want to be that visual about it, it can be as simple as wearing a ring that makes you feel a certain way because you bought it at a certain store at a moment in your life that was just so strong in your memory that when you put it on, that's the energy that you're bringing to, the day or the situation. So that is how really you kind of create your go-to shit kickers like category of clothing that you can wear. I also want to drop a story here. So I had a friend in St. Paul who was very against thrifting. She was like not a thrifter. She hated going to, in Australia, they call them op shops, opportunity stores. In the US, they're called thrift stores. I was super into it at that time, especially. I've always loved thrifting, but like especially then. And she was like, no, I cannot do it because all the clothing is haunted. I was like, oh, wow, that's such an interesting thing to say about clothing. But really, I think reflecting on that, what her perspective was is that like all clothing has energy, just like everything in your house or the furniture has energy. And we want to be intentional about like what that energy is that we're bringing in. So like, for example, I don't know, maybe you like are looking at a super old like mink fur coat and you're like, oh, I look at that and I kind of get a vibe of who would have worn that back in the 40s. And like, that's not my vibe. That's not what I'm going for. But that's sort of the idea. That's how I'm starting to think about clothing, is like it all brings its energy, and being intentional about what we wear and what we don't wear can really turn up the vibe that we're bringing. And owning your style is so important. It does start within, obviously these items of clothing, these shit kickers bring the badass out in us, but it doesn't create the badass. Like it's still there. It's just giving you that extra visual cue. It's kind of giving you that sense of like, yes, now I'm wearing it. I'm like have this vibe, I have this energy, and I'm here to do it. So this can actually be really powerful as a method of personal branding as well. And the way this would look is, being intentional about what you do put out into the world, like how you want to present, how you want to feel every day. It's not always about dressing in the latest fashions, but it's about dressing for your energy and how you want to feel, and not just about like being accepted by the crowd or by the majority. You want to you actually, it can actually be detrimental to be fitting in at the expense of your authenticity. You actually want to be feeling like yourself, feeling accepted for who you are, being able to be your authentic self, no matter how that looks or what you wear or how you dress. But that's your personal style, and putting that into a thoughtful package of what you're going to wear, when you're going to wear it, how you're going to present to yourself, but most importantly, how that's going to make you feel is going to allow you to go out into the world to think more audaciously about your goals, to actually take that really crazy, bold action that you need in order to get to your goals. It's going to help you to manifest crazy, amazing, badass outcomes and just feel so much better while you're doing it because you feel like a badass and you're wearing your shit kickers and you're just like getting shit done. So, the power of dressing with intention is amazing. Never forget your shit kickers shall make you feel taller. They'll give you a swagger. They will make you feel confident and badass. And they're always going to be something that make you feel good regardless of the situation. I certainly hope that for you. I really hope you find your version of your shit kickers. Comment on this episode if you're on Spotify or YouTube and let me know, or even tag me on social media at Melissa Hussong. Let me know what your shit kickers are and how they make you feel when you put them on. Okay, amazing. I love you all so much. Have a great day. Put your shit kickers on and get shit done.